Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you guys are doing well. And I want to make this video right here today to talk about an unsung hero on the Seattle Seahawks so far this year. A guy that I don't see a lot of people really discussing this. I don't see a lot of people, I feel like some people aren't even really aware of it. And you might be somebody who watches every Seahawk game and every play, and I feel like you still might not be aware of this because it's kind of happening low key under the radar here. It's not something that jumps out to you when you watch the team from week to week, but it is happening, and I want to celebrate it a little bit. I'm talking about DeeJay Dallas. Kind of a forgotten man. He plays a little bit in every game on offense. He gets a few snaps as a back. Usually he's like a third down back. He's out there on passing downs. He might catch the occasional pass or take the occasional shotgun draw. Not really a lot going on there, but DeeJay Dallas is a guy who's now in his fourth NFL season. He's made meaningful contributions in previous years. Usually, every year, it feels like there's one game where he has to take on a big role because of injuries, and he does a lot of good stuff. Usually, it's just the one game, but he does make his impact felt. However, on the whole, he's not really the guy that you would talk about as being impactful on this 2023 Seahawks team. He's definitely somebody who you would put very low on the list of impact guys. However, I want to take a look at this here because in the area of special teams, returning on special teams, DeeJay Dallas is actually doing something really impressive, and I want to make sure it's known and singled out because this is actually really, really cool, and it's not something you see every day. So let's start with kickoffs. Now, this is the area where DeeJay Dallas, I think most people are at least vaguely aware of the fact that he's a good kickoff returner. He's not somebody who's going to house it. He's not somebody who's going to return it like to the opposing team's territory, but he consistently gets what he gets. And he has consistently gotten what he has gotten so far this season to rank third in kickoff return yards. He's one of three players to be above 200 yards in kickoff return yardage. Now, that by itself might not be super meaningful, but if you sort by average kickoff return per, he's still really high. He's fifth. And three of the guys who are ahead of him have averaged less than one return per game. So honestly, that to me that doesn't even really count. You're not making a big enough impact. Of players who have at least one kickoff return per game played, he's second with 25.9, which obviously that doesn't stand out as some super amazing number, and honestly, it's not really an amazing number, but he consistently gets you out past the 25 when he takes the kickoff out of the end zone. His long on the season on 8 attempts is 34 yards. So that tells you he's not busting touchdowns, he's not creating super short fields, but he is consistently, when he's asked to return, and so far this year he's done about two returns a game, a little bit less, he's getting you out a little bit closer. He's getting you out to the 30, he's getting you out to the 33. He's making it just that little bit easier on a consistent basis. So, thus far this season, the point I'm trying to make is that DeeJay Dallas is one of the best kick returners in the league. And I say that despite the fact that, yeah, he's not housing anything. He's not even getting close to a touchdown. But in the modern NFL, honestly, kickoff return touchdowns and punt return touchdowns are just becoming super rare. And I don't think any return man in the modern NFL, with the exception of maybe one guy at any given time, can be held to that standard. Like, you'll have one Devin Hester, then Devin Hester retires, and then you've got Cordarrelle Patterson. And the next guy, I don't even know if we have the next guy. Maybe it'll be Marvin Mims because he seems to be off to a pretty good start. But it's usually just like one, maybe two guys at a time who are actually capable of doing that on any kind of a reliable basis. So this is kickoff return stuff. Now let's go over to the punt return stuff. And this is the area where DeeJay Dallas, let's just say he makes people nervous. Let's just say he's a little bit of a tough sell here because he doesn't look super comfortable fielding punts, and sometimes he misjudges where the ball is going to land, and we lose yardage because of it. And that does occasionally still happen, I think. But so far this year, it hasn't resulted in any turnovers. He hasn't fumbled the ball. He's successfully called 6 fair catches. So to say that it's some big problem is just being dishonest, right? If it was a big problem, he would have turned it over by now. He would have been benched. He would have been making like "Come on, man" every week. They would have been making fun of him on ESPN and YouTube, and that hasn't happened yet because he hasn't made the big mistake yet. He does make the occasional mistake misjudging where the ball's going to land, but it's always a relatively minor thing. So let's take a look at what he has done. You take a look at punt return yards. He's currently eighth, which is good. It's not great or anything like that. It's not anything crazy over the top. Eighth is probably makes you well above average. It makes you a good punt returner. But the real stat here would, of course, be average return yards per punt returned. And in this area, DeeJay Dallas actually bumps all the way up to fourth in the entire NFL. When he returns a punt, his average is 14 and a half, and his long is 23. The consistency is remarkable because look at these other guys who are at the top. They have like a long of 81, 76, 70, 61, 52, 65, and DeeJay Dallas is just hanging out in the middle here with a long of 23. So again, he's not housing it. He's not creating a touchdown single-handedly, but he's consistently giving you an extra 10 yards in field position that you now don't need to get on offense. And I don't know if that's more valuable than housing the occasional punt, but it is a deeply appreciated thing that he is doing. And I feel like he's not getting much credit for it because this is a part of football that is not really getting attention anymore because it doesn't happen often enough. And frankly, even when it does happen, he's not hitting a highlight reel. He's not making 8 guys miss. He's not doing Dante Hall, Devin Hester stuff in the open field. He's just DeeJay Dallas. But DeeJay Dallas is averaging 14 and a half yards per punt return. That's a full first down and a half less that the offense has to worry about. And it's on a decent number of attempts. It's 8. There are definitely players out there with more punt returns, like Devin Duvernay has 13. Britton Covey has 14. So there are guys with more for sure. But it's a pretty decent sample size, and it's pretty indicative of the fact that he has worked his way into becoming one of the most effective punt returners in the league as well. Now, obviously, this can change on a dime. One fumble, and everybody's going to want him benched, and they're never going to want to see him on special teams again. One muff, and people are going to want him out. But for the moment, the point I'm trying to make is that DeeJay Dallas is doing it on kickoff returns and punt returns. That kind of makes him one of the most valuable special teams return men in the NFL. There are other guys who are doing it one way. Like you have a guy like Devin Duvernay who's killing it on punt returns, but he's not doing nearly as well on kick returns. Same for a guy like Rashid Shaheed. Like they're doing it both ways, but they're not matching the effectiveness of DeeJay Dallas. So I don't know if he's the most valuable return man in the league, but he's got to be in the conversation. He's got to be very close just by virtue of the fact that he's doing both at a very high level. So DeeJay Dallas is a free agent this offseason, this upcoming offseason, and I've always kind of been a little dismissive of the idea of bringing him back because you just go through running backs in the NFL, right? Like you have a replacement level running back who does a decent job, and when the time comes, you don't re-sign him and you go draft another one. But this, I think, casts things in a bit of a new light. If he truly is one of the best kick returners and punt returners in the NFL, he might be worth keeping around beyond his rookie deal. So, how do you guys feel about this? We know he's well liked in the locker room. We know he's a appreciated player among the other players. We know that I'm not going to call him a locker room leader, but we know that the team likes having him here. And he also adds a little bit of value on offense. Remember, he's considered to be one of the better blocking running backs in the NFL. Last year, he was very successful at it. This year, we're not seeing it as much because Walker and Charbonnet have both been good blockers, and we haven't needed to put Dallas out there for that purpose. But the point is, in the event of injuries, DeeJay Dallas can be called on to kind of do a little bit of everything. He can run the ball and catch the ball and block out of the backfield. So, where he lacks in being a star in any one area, where he lacks in being a guy who you can depend on to get 115 yards a game, he's going to give you variety and he's going to give you consistency. So, DeeJay Dallas, unsung hero of the Seahawks, helping us grind out a little extra field position on every kick and giving us a little bit of security in the backfield. So, yeah, are we keeping him around? What are you offering him? What is this worth? What is this kind of versatility worth in free agency? I don't know. I don't have an answer, but this is becoming a little more interesting than I thought because he's doing so much right in this area of the game. All right, I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. Just wanted to celebrate a guy who needs a little celebrating because we ain't talking about it, but he's having a really nice season on the down low.